Sandy the Finnick Fox.
This is Sandy, our Finnick Fox. Isn't she just about the cutest thing you've ever seen? Everyone say, aww. Now, even though Sandy is so small and dainty, she actually lives in one of the hardest places to live in the world, the Sahara Desert in Africa. Now, she has a couple different adaptations that help her live in such a hard place. Do you think you could tell me what one of her big adaptations might be? That's right, those really big ears. Now, these help her in a couple different ways. The first way is it actually helps cool her body. What's going to happen is blood is going to flow up through these ears, cool down, and then flow back down through her body. So it works as her own built-in air conditioning system. Now, the second reason these ears are so important is to actually help her hunt. She can hear extremely well, so she can actually hear bugs and lizards that are hiding underneath the sand in the desert. Now, how do you think Sandy's going to get to these bugs and lizards that are underneath the sand? That's right, she's going to dig. That's her second very important adaptation. She has small hairs underneath her paws, and these help prevent her from burning her paws on the hot, hot sand, and it also makes her an excellent digger. So she's going to listen with those big ears, hear the insects and lizards under the sand, and then dig, dig, dig as fast as she can so that she can get a nice meal. So now that you've heard about how wonderful Sandy is at digging, we're going to see if our contestant skills can match up with hers.
All right, everybody, that was Sandy. Oh, come on now, Diva. All right, everybody, we've got Diamond, the blue and gold macaw.
This is Diamond, our blue and gold macaw. Now you're going to find these guys living in the rainforests of Central and South America. What's one of the very first things you noticed about Diamond when I brought her out? Colors, that's right. She has extremely bright colors. Now this is actually an adaptation for camouflage. What is she going to camouflage into exactly? Her friends and family. That's right, these are extremely social birds, so they're going to hang out in groups of 20 or more. So you have 20 birds all looking out for a predator. When one spots one, they're going to sound the alarm, and all these birds are going to fly off at once. And all those bright colors mixed together are really going to confuse that predator, and he's not going to be able to pick out just one bird to eat. Now, another very important thing that Diamond has is a large beak, which you might have noticed. This beak is very powerful. It's so powerful, in fact, that she could bite clean through a broom handle. Now, this is going to help her crack open nuts and other tough fruits. Another important adaptation that Diamond has that helps her with food is called a crop. A crop is located right in her throat, and it actually stores food. Because she's hanging out with so many other birds, she doesn't know when she's going to get a big meal again, or even a meal at all. So what's going to happen is when she does find something large to eat, she's going to eat and eat and eat until her stomach's completely full. Then she's going to keep eating until her crop is full. That way, if she can't find a meal later, she has that stored food in her crop that she could move down to her stomach. So it's kind of like having your own built-in Tupperware to store food in. So now that you've heard about her amazing adaptation, we're going to go ahead and play our next game.
Hello, everybody. This is Tyson the Tamandua. Now, a Tamandua is a small type of anteater from South America. And being an anteater, what would you say his diet mainly consists of? That's right. Tyson's going to eat ants, termites, and all other sorts of bugs. In fact, the name Tamandua literally means ant trap. So, Tyson has a couple very important adaptations to help him eat these bugs. The first is his tongue. Tyson actually has a 16-inch long tongue, which he's going to use to stick down those ant mounds and lick up those bugs. Now, even though Tyson's tongue is so very long, it's not going to be long enough for him to reach all the bugs that are deep down in the ground. So what he's going to do is he's going to use these long front claws of his to dig deep down in the soil to get to as many bugs as possible. Now, not only do these claws make Tyson good at digging, but they also make him an excellent climber, and they assist him in self-defense. If Tyson's feeling threatened by a predator, he doesn't have teeth to defend himself with. So what he's going to do is he's going to reach out, grab that predator, and squeeze really, really tightly. Now these claws are extremely sharp and extremely powerful. So Tyson's going to deliver a pinch that predator's never going to forget. So now that you all have heard about these amazing adaptations, it's time for our first set of trivia questions.
Oh my God.
That's right, everybody. This is Gus, our Indian crested porcupine. Now there are 22 different species of porcupine, and you can find them living in Africa, Asia, Europe, and North and South America. Now, if you were to come across a group of porcupines, they wouldn't be called a herd or a flock, but a prickle. So, knowing that Gus is a part of a prickle of porcupines, what would you think his adaptation might be? That's right, quills. Gus has over 30,000 quills all over his body. Now, who's heard that porcupines actually shoot these quills out? This is actually a really big myth. Porcupines don't shoot their quills at all. However, I can see how that myth probably got started, because if you were to walk into Gus's enclosure in the morning and look on the ground, you would see a whole bunch of quills. Now, this isn't because he shoots them. This is actually because he sheds them, much like a dog or cat might shed its fur. What Gus is going to do when he feels threatened by a predator is he's going to stick all these quills straight up and run backwards at his predator. Now, these quills are extremely sharp and barbed at the end, much like a fish hook. So not only is this going to be a very painful experience for that predator to get stuck, but it's going to be twice as painful for him to have to pull that quill out. So chances are he's never going to try to make a meal out of a porcupine ever again. So this is a really great adaptation for self-defense, and Gus is a really great subject for our next set of trivia questions. This is Ruby, our red-tailed hawk. Now raise your hand if you think you've seen a bird just like Ruby out in the wild. Alright, these are a native species to Georgia and most of North America, so I wouldn't at all be surprised if you've even seen one in your own backyard. Now, red-tailed hawks are what we call raptors, and the word raptor literally means to seize or to grab, which is exactly how Ruby's going to catch her food. First, Ruby's going to spot her food with her amazing eyesight. Hawks have such good eyesight, in fact, that they can see a mouse from a half a mile away. Then what Ruby's going to do is she's going to swoop down and grasp her prey with these sharp, powerful talons and fly up into a tree in order to eat it. Now, hawks don't want to spend a lot of time eating on the ground because a bigger, stronger animal could come along and take their food away from them, or even make a meal out of the hawk herself. However, living in the wild, you never know when you're going to find your next meal. So Ruby's going to eat pretty much anything she can find. So if she comes across something large like a rabbit, it's going to be way too heavy for her to carry off into the trees. So she has a very special adaptation to help her in this type of situation called a crop. A crop is located right in her throat, and it actually helps her store food. So what Ruby's going to do is she's going to eat and eat and eat until her stomach's completely full. Then she's going to keep eating until that crop is completely full. That way she gets as much food as possible, and if she can't find a meal later, she has that extra stored food in her crop that she can move down to her stomach. So it's kind of like having your own built-in Tupperware to store leftovers in. So now that you all have heard about these amazing adaptations, it's time for our last set of trivia questions. Alright everybody, this is Oscar, our two-toed sloth. Now you can find sloths living in the rainforests of Central and South America, and they're actually the slowest moving mammal on Earth. Sloths move so slow, in fact, that in the wild, they're not going to have this blonde, beautiful hair like Oscar here, but they're going to be green, because they move so slow that algae is going to start to grow on their fur. Now, this may sound dirty or gross, but it's actually very important, because it helps them blend into those treetops. Now, Oscar is going to spend most of his time hanging upside down in a tree, and he's only going to come down from his tree about once a week. Can anyone guess why Oscar only comes down from his tree once a week? To go to the bathroom, that's right. So what Oscar's going to do is he's going to climb down from his tree, climb away from his tree, use the bathroom, bury it, and then climb back home. Now the reason he does this is because if he were to go to the bathroom in his tree, a predator like a jaguar would come along, see all the droppings, and guess that a sloth probably lives there. So all these adaptations are very important for his survival. Now since Oscar is so slow and sweet, we're actually going to give you guys a chance to meet him today. And here comes Melissa to tell you how.